Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Everything Business. If it is your first time, thank you for tuning in. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Right, if you're always coming, thank you for coming. And now we're going to be talking about a big topic, a big issue that's facing young people, persons who are doing principles of business, principles of accounts, and economics. And it is the SBA. Oh my word, the SBA. It's driving everybody crazy, right? And so I'll be taking you through a little tutorial here on how to do the Business Cognate SBA guide, and this is part 1 of part 2 video. Check in the description below and you will see the chapters. You can skip to the various chapters as you see fit. All right, so without further ado, let's get right into it. So then, what is the business cognate? The word cognate simply means connected, so you don't need to get flustered by that big word, right? The business cognate groups the subjects, principles of business, principles of accounts, and economics, allowing for one SBA to be submitted for all 3 subjects. Are you kidding me? Yeah, right? I'm not kidding you, right? Whatever subject will be used to represent the cognate should be reflected in the SBA. So for example, if you are using principles of accounts SBA to represent the other 2 or even the other 1, right, then the SBA should be skewed towards accounting concepts and information. All right, and similarly, if you're using POB SBA as the main SBA, then information should be skewed towards POB. If you're using the economics SBA, then the information should be skewed towards economics. All right, so is SBA important? A lot of young people are saying, SBA is not important, and they're not focusing on the SBA, they're focusing on the exam. But SBA is actually very important, right? So watch this, right? You may be having pre-exam jitters, thinking how how much of that 100 marks you'll be able to get, right? Or the 100% you'll be able to get. But what if I told you that I can guarantee you getting at least 20 marks out of that 100 marks before you even sit the exam, before you even take up a pencil, before you even take up a pen? What if I can tell you that you can get 20 out of that 100 marks? That would be great news, right? Well, that's the opportunity that the SBA gives, right? So the school-based assessment, SBA, is very important to you being successful in the exam. If you are required to submit an SBA, you should make every effort to do so, because the SBA provides an alternative form of assessment and it allows a candidate to accumulate up to 20% of their final grade on the exam. That is crazy, right? I would want to take advantage of this, wouldn't you? Alright, now let's look at the business cognate mark scheme. So paper 1, which is what people normally call the multiple choice, right? It values 60 marks. Right, paper 2, which is the essay paper, right, it values 100 marks, and the SBA or paper 3-2, right, because there are private schools that do not do SBAs, right, so they do what is called papers 3-2. It values 40 marks, right? So the total marks that you can get, in either POB, economics, or accounts is 200 marks. And we are telling you here now that you can get 40 out of that 200, 20%. Right, of the marks by just doing this project. Isn't that good news? Right, so let's look at the format of the business cognate SBA. So you have a table of content, topic, issue, objective of the project, the background or the overview of the project, right? Overview of the topic, issue, or problem, the methodology, which is basically how you're collecting the data, presentation and analysis of the data, conclusion, recommendation, and bibliography, and appendices, right? And so that's basically the general format. This is basically how your table of contents would look, minus the table of contents up there, of course. All right, so let's look at them now. The table of contents, it's one of the first things that will be in your SBA, right? It should accurately be linked to the pages. So your table of contents will, when a person take up a table of content, they should be able to turn to whatever page the table of content says a particular topic is, and they should be able to find it. So it goes without saying that your pages in your SBA should be numbered. or else your table of content, won't work, right? And you won't get that 1 mark. All right. So the content page, can be done last, so as to get all the page numbers correctly. Some persons even do the content page separately from the project. All right. Yeah. So that's 1 mark. Then we move on to the topic, issue, or problem, and this is where people basically like just freeze up. They can't think of a problem, they can't think of a topic to do in the SBA, right? It values 2 marks, but you don't need to worry about it, right? Clearly state what the problem is. That's the first thing you need to do when you're stating your topic statement or your issue or problem, right? Topics can be in the form of a statement, for example, an investigation into the causes of unemployment. Topics can also be in the form of a question. For example, what are the causes of unemployment, and so on and so on. Topic must be specific. For example, an investigation into the causes of unemployment in Apple Lane Parish country, whatever the parish is, whatever the country is, right? And if you need further help with possible topics, you can just shoot me an email at everythingbusiness876@gmail.com. All right, so that's 3 marks we gone already. Now we move on to the objectives of the project. Right? Now the objective of the project, it speaks to what you hope to achieve by undertaking this research, and it should be related to the topic, right? So you don't state an objective that is not related to the topic. It is recommended to have at least 3 objectives, and some examples of objectives can be to find out the causes of unemployment in Apple Lane Parish country, to find out the age group most affected by unemployment in Apple Lane, to find out possible effects of unemployment on residents of Apple Lane, right? And so, these are some, possible objectives that you can have, right, in your objective of the project. Now, the background or the overview of the topic, right? This value is 4 marks, right? So you are expected to do a little more writing here, all right? So the first thing you're going to do, you're going to describe the topic or the problem. And in your description, be careful to include like a brief history of the area being studied, right? So whatever area you're studying, just describe the area, the demography, right? The history of the problem if applicable, right? Establish a need for the research. So you're gonna, why is it important for me to do this research? Because guess what? Nobody wants to read something that they don't have to read or that's not important. So why is this thing important? Why do you need to do a research here? So describe in detail the problem, right? You're gonna basically prove to the reader why this is a problem. Why is this a problem, right? Because to some persons, this is not a problem, but you are going to prove or to justify why this is a problem, right? And how has the problem impacted society? What impacts or what effects does this problem have on society, right? If it's not impacting society, then technically it's not really a problem, right? If it's not affecting anybody, right? Explain why this is important to you, right? You're going to tell them why. Why is this important to me? Why? Why do you have an interest in this area? All right. So that's basically what your background or the overview of the topic is about. 4 marks, easy, right? They're about like 2 paragraphs or yeah. Then we're going to move on to the big one, one of the big ones, right? The methodology or the data collection method, right? Now this section details the method used to collect information. You're going to need information for your research. Then how you get information, right? Yeah, this is what this section talks about. You're going to state how you get the information, what methods you use to get the information, because you must get the information somehow, right? So this section will tell you how you collect the information, right? Now for this section, you will have to create your data collection instruments, right? Now with the exception of observation that does not necessarily have an instrument, but you can create a checklist of things that you are looking for. You can use any 2 of the following instruments: observation, interview, questionnaire, or survey. For the methods chosen, please ensure to clearly describe the instrument. So whatever instrument you choose, clearly describe those instruments. For example, a questionnaire was used to collect information from residents. The questionnaire consisted of a total of 7 questions, of which 5 were closed-ended and 2 were open-ended, right? And this will not work for observation method unless you have a checklist, which is, not a must, right? So, you're going to describe the instrument here. People will use different verbiage. People have different writing styles, but basically this is what you want to do right here. You want to describe the instruments that you are using. All right. So we move on. Another thing that you need to ensure that you have, when you're talking about your instruments, right? You need to ensure that you state the benefits of using that instrument, said instrument. Why do you choose to use this instrument as opposed to using something else, right? So you need to state the benefit of using this particular instrument. For example, one benefit of using the questionnaire is that it is easy to administer and it prevents unnecessary information from being collected, right? Because it has obviously closed-ended questions. All right, so that's the reason why you would want to use a questionnaire. And then you're going to describe the process of collecting the data, and you're going to state or explain any limitations or any challenges faced. For example, a total of 20 questionnaires were printed and issued to residents in Apple Lane. The researcher went house by house issuing the questionnaires and waited for respondents to complete it. One major challenge that was faced by the researcher was that some persons refused to participate while some persons did not answer all the questions, right? So you describe how you go about getting the information, and you speak about the challenges that you faced, right? And that is important, right? Yeah, right. So there you have it, 19 marks right off the bat. Very easy, right? Stay tuned for part 2 of this tutorial. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell so that you never miss a tutorial, and I'll see you guys in a little while for part 2. Well, good.